Make no mistake about it, this is the kind of hyper-focused, dual-team attacking topic that really doesn't provide much value in the off-season, but it provides some interesting conversation, some filler, a pillow or two to take up space in the void that is the summer and August of the NHL life cycle. Because today what I wanted to do was talk about defense and go over the Montreal Canadiens D pairings as well as the Vancouver Canucks D pairings. This is not because of anything particular that links the two together, but because of an overarching idea that was presented on NHL Network earlier yesterday. Now, this was posted onto Twitter, which was then posted over onto our Hockey on Reddit. There's a little bit of suspense because we can't actually see the thing right here, but NHL Network posted their list of the top 5 D units in the league yesterday, and I have some opinions about them. So, according to Thomas Hickey, who is a former National Hockey League defenseman himself, broadcasting on the show, these are the top defensive units in the NHL. Number 1, you have the Colorado Avalanche. Okay, Cale Makar, Devon Toews, Sammy Girard. We just made a video about Girard, whether or not he could get moved or he could be an option on the block. But Hickey says that they are the number 1 D core in the National Hockey League. I mean, with the talent that they have up front and the addition of Brent Burns, I think he's a very underrated player to add to the list here. I can see why they're seen as a good name. Number 1, though? Interesting. Number 2, I don't think anybody will disagree with Florida being super high up here. I mean, just think about what they've done the past 2 seasons, and then they added Seth Jones, they kept Aaron Ekblad, they signed Jeff Petrie for cheap. I mean, Nico Mikkola, Gustav Forsling, these guys are beasts. Kulikov is still in there. They might have lost out on Nate Schmidt. They might have lost out on OEL, but the fat around the edges is easily replaced by some other depth guys that are added on here. The main core in Florida, super, super good. 3rd overall, D unit in the National Hockey League, the Dallas Stars. Okay, interesting. Miro Heiskanen is over there when he is healthy. He is absolutely phenomenal. Thomas Harley took some really big steps the past few months. He has been amazing as well. And then you have 4th overall, the Washington Capitals. Now, the Caps, with Dmitry Orlov, Jacob Chychrun, they have a really solid group down there. And I think there are a number of guys that you can highlight as headliners on these 4 teams. But Thomas Hickey has Montreal as the 5th best D core in the National Hockey League. And that's really interesting to me. Now, I'm a Habs fan. They're my 2nd favorite team. My 1st favorite team is the Vancouver Canucks. But I'm sitting here thinking, just because the Habs added Noah Dobson, does that make their D-core a top 5 D-core in the league? Right now, what's listed on Daily Faceoff is Guhle, Dobson, Hutson, Struble, Matheson, Carrier. You still have David Reinbacher, who could potentially make an impact. You still have Arbor Xhekaj in there. Okay, these are nice young names that could potentially be in the lineup. And you can also say that, for argument's sake, Mike Matheson is a top-pairing power play guy being played on the 3rd pair. Lane Hutson is, by all accounts, the number 1 defenseman at this stage of his career. Noah Dobson, same thing. Kaiden Guhle, he's like Shea Weber light. There are a number of avenues that you can explore that essentially highlight the same point, that Montreal has some really talented pieces on their blue line, and they have a good D-core. But is it top 5 in the NHL? I don't know about that. In fact, my immediate instinct when I saw top 5 defensive units in the league, I was like, okay, where's Vancouver? Vancouver was one of the best teams defensively, penalty kill-wise, this previous year. I know everybody talks about how the team up front was really, really bad. Pettersson was a 45-point player. He fought with JT Miller. Besser couldn't replicate a 40-goal season. Dakota Joshua also had a really down year. There were some standouts like Pia Suter and Kiefer Sherwood. There were a number of guys that did well comparative to the expectations, but overall, the Vancouver Canucks up front, not great. On defense, though, Quinn Hughes was a man possessed this previous season, and even with the injuries, he was still fantastic. Marcus Pettersson was a really good addition. Playing with Tyler Myers, there's actually some stability there. You had really good showcases out of guys like Elias Pettersson, Victor Mancini, and even Derek Forbort, whom the Canucks brought back. You also have Tom Willander, whom some say could be a top 4 defenseman as soon as this upcoming year. And you still have Filip Hronek, whom we haven't spoken about this entire time. The Vancouver Canucks D-core, I think, has taken strides over the past 2 seasons and is, in my opinion, one of the best in the league, if not a top 5 unit. And so when I sit here as a Canucks and a Canadiens fan, and I try to rationalize, I say, all right, well, is Montreal's D-core really better than Vancouver's? Let's go out there and read some of the comments here on our hockey about the fact that Montreal is number 5. Potato Soup 303 says, as a Habs fan, I would love for that to be true, but I think it's best to wait until half the season to start thinking about being top 5 in any positive category. Seriously, this team had one of the worst defense scores last year, at least until Carrier arrived. I do see the potential, after these players mature, to reach the top 5. There's something appealing about a more mature and developed group with Dobson, Hutson, Reinbacher, Carrier, and Guhle. The team could also have an injury in the top 4 and still have someone talented to fill the gap. There are also other good young players like Struble, Engstrom, and Xhekaj, but they're harder to judge long-term. But right now, the team needs to grow. It seems like the pieces are set in place. Now it's time for them to learn and create chemistry. I can see a top 5 D-core in the future, but I wouldn't bet in a top 5 D-core next season. That's a big leap compared to the start of last season. Yeah, let's wait. This might be better labeled as teams with the most talent or potential. Not having the Jennings winners on this list is a bit weird when it's labeled defensive unit, says the Winnipeg Jets fan. Well, which is it though? Is it your goalie or an MVP caliber defense? Well, which is it though? Is your goalie a Vezina MVP caliber goalie, or is it the D-core? Yeah, okay, let's skip past that and say this. All right, Oiled Up Hippo says it's very bold to put the Habs at the top 5 when Hutson played 1 season. Dobson hasn't played for the team yet, and Reinbacher was in the AHL. This list was made by Thomas Hickey, who is a TV analyst for the Islanders, so he's seen way more of Dobson than any Habs fan. He knows what you're getting. But still, is that enough to go out there and say top 5 D-core in the league? One new dude? Let's scroll out there and read some more. This is Rage Bait. Stars D-core is overrated. The Habs will be scary in a few years. Carolina easily clears the Canadiens here. The Devils D unit is better than the current Habs unit. Dallas doesn't have enough depth. You also have yourselves this Vancouver comment here. Am I just too high on our D-core? Hughes, Hronek, M. Pettersson, Myers, D. Petey is the best 5 defensemen we've had in forever. Hughes missed some time and played through some injuries, so people are sleeping on him. How can you sleep on someone who's 1 season off of a Norris Trophy? Are you new to Canucks hockey? Quinn could have 3 Norris Trophies, and people out east would still ask if a D-man of his size can play at that level for a full season. Yeah, that is true. Shh, we want to fly under the radar as long as possible. Another reply says, we've definitely got a better D-core than Montreal, and they're my East team. Part of it is that Hronek especially is super underrated, along with every other member of our D-core, and part of this list is just nonsense. So, that in itself is kind of the same thesis that I'm presenting here in this video commentary. I'm very high on the Canucks D-core, and I know a lot of Canucks fans are too. Is it good enough, though, to be a top 5 D-core in the league? Nevertheless, is it good enough to be better than Montreal's? I'm going to go out there and say that if everybody plays their best, Montreal can be one of the top ones. But I do think Vancouver has a higher upward ceiling this upcoming season compared to Montreal. Maybe long-term, the Habs actually do have something with Reinbacher and Hutson becomes Quinn Hughes 2.0 and Guhle is Weber number 2 and Dobson is just so freaking amazing. It's possible. But I don't know about next season. So, yeah, arguments ensue in the comments section below. Let me know what you think about this entire defense core conversation. Top D units in the NHL, according to Thomas Hickey. What are your thoughts? Let me know how you feel. I hope you enjoyed this British Ash Rolls 99. And bye.